Hello, welcome back everyone. I am Kevin Curran with Rising Tide Biology. Today I'm talking about the current state of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're currently in sort of a good news and potentially bad news situation where we're seeing infection rates and death rates dropping here in the US. We're seeing a steady ramp up of the vaccination program, so we're working towards herd immunity. But the potentially bad news is the emergence of these variants around the globe. And we have now seen evidence that they can work around the vaccines and work around our body's natural immunity. So this is a potential problem. But let me get into some of the details here. So in general, in the U.S., we're seeing cases dropping, which is great. Our 7-day average has fallen more than 50% since its peak on January 8th. And as you'd expect, COVID-related deaths have also dropped about 20% since January 12th. And the other good news is that our vaccination program is slowly ramping up. So we've already seen about 33 million people receive a dose of vaccine here in the US. And we're doing about 1.5 million people a day receiving a single dose. And that number should continue to go up to 2 million, maybe in the short term. So what does that mean? If we track that out to the summer, it looks like by July, maybe 50% of the US will be vaccinated. So if you combine that with 30% that are thought to be naturally infected, then that gets you to sort of that 75-80% range of immunity within the population. And that's what the epidemiologists call herd immunity. And that's where we start to really get past this pandemic, in that we have high levels of protection throughout the whole population. Okay, so what's the troubling news? So we're seeing this virus evolve, mutations are arising, and the virus is evolving to avoid attack from our immune system and to reach higher levels of transmission. That's what living entities do. We've seen a collection of variants emerge. I'm going to talk about two of them as quickly as I can. There's one that's come out of South Africa and one that's emerged from the UK. So the UK variant, it's also called B117. Yes, we need better names for these variants. This arose in the UK, and it is thought to be more than 50% infectious than the original coronavirus strain. So we've seen some studies suggest that it's also 35% more deadly, but that's not confirmed. The good news is our vaccines seem to work well against this particular variant. The bad news is because it's more transmissible, it's spreading quickly throughout the globe, and specifically in the US. 33 states have seen this variant arise, and the CDC thinks that this UK strain will be the dominant strain in the United States by March. Okay, so that's got the potential to increase infection rates, sort of reverse the down curve that we're on right now. So that's not good. The other variant that is a concern, and I think more of a concern, is the B1351 variant. Now, this is the South African variant. Why do I think it's more concerning? Because we've seen evidence that vaccines don't work as well against this variant. And furthermore, people that have already been infected with the original strain, they're being reinfected now with this South African variant. So what does that mean? It means that the natural immunity that our body creates against the original strain is not sufficient to protect against this new variant. So the big news was AstraZeneca. They had their clinical trial in South Africa. They halted their trial because they saw that their vaccine was incapable of delivering strong protection against the South African variant, which is dominant in South Africa. Okay, so That's a problem. Novavax, another vaccine company, they're based in Boston, as well as Johnson and Johnson. They are also reporting lower efficacy, lower levels of protection in their clinical trial participants that had the South African variant. So multiple vaccines are showing that they offer less protection when up against this new variant of the virus. Okay, what about the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines? We don't know as much there, but they've conducted some laboratory studies that suggest their vaccines are also less effective. Does that mean they don't work against the variant? Probably not. They probably do work to some degree. It's likely they protect against severe cases of COVID-19, but possibly don't protect against mild to moderate. And so we might see, a rise in people with infections, but we'll still see a steady drop in hospitalizations from vaccinated people. That's one scenario. So Moderna has recently tested blood from vaccinated people, and they found a sixfold reduction in their vaccine's neutralizing power against the South African variant. So the antibodies that are generated in our body's immune system against the virus, they work less effectively with this new South African variant. So that is a problem. So moving forward, we want to be able to track the ability of the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, the two RNA vaccines. We want to see how much they protect individuals from the UK variant and the South African variant specifically. It's possible that the level of protection that we know they deliver is sufficient to cover these slightly different viruses. And it's possible that they're not, and we start seeing high rates of hospitalization and death with vaccinated people. If that's the case, then both organizations, Moderna and Pfizer, will quickly move into creating a variation of their vaccine, and people will come in for a booster shot. So that's where things are at. It's a mostly good news story, but potential trouble on the horizon. But, we're still in a wait and see. So let's see how things turn out. I have put a bunch of links and information in the comment section below. Feel free to do some further research. Feel free to subscribe. I'll be doing more regular updates. Just moved into a new home, a new office. So I'll be doing regular videos as this year progresses. All right. Thanks for following along.